Another day, another keyboard. In this video, I will be reviewing another Chinese keyboard from XVX, the M61 60% mechanical keyboard with Coral Sea theme. Quick overview about XVX. If you don't know, XVX and Womier are handled by the same company. Womier is responsible for making the acrylic keyboards and XVX is the one who's making the themed mechanical PBT keyboards. Before we start, special thanks to XVX for the opportunity to review their XVX M61 mechanical keyboard. Compared to other Chinese keyboards that I've reviewed in the past like GK61 or SK61, the packaging of the M61 has a design, some branding, and minor details about the keyboard. What we have here is the Gateron Brown Switch variant, and you can buy this on Amazon at the price of $70. However, on Lazada or Shopee, this keyboard costs a whopping 7,000 to 8,000 pesos, which is not good. However, XVX told me that they are working with their distributor to set up a shop here and provide a much more competitive price and stock for their products. Opening the box, the first thing we can see is the M61 keyboard wrapped in a foam plastic, and then we have the user manual, a Coral Sea theme mousepad, a keycap puller, and a USB cable. The build quality of this keyboard is really nice. You can already feel the premium and solid construction of this keyboard compared to other budget keyboards like GK61 or SK61. The body frame of this keyboard is made with PBT as well as its keycaps. The paint and design of this keyboard extends down to the frame of the keyboard. The paint job on this keyboard is really nice and the color and texture are on point, which makes this keyboard premium and good for people who love themed mechanical keyboards. This keyboard has a 60% keyboard layout, which means this keyboard doesn't have arrow keys, function keys, and numpad. The overall build of this quality is sturdy and doesn't bend easily. As for the switches, what we have here are the Gateron Brown Switches. Unfortunately, this keyboard is not hot swappable, so just in case some keys don't work, you cannot easily swap them or upgrade to a high-end Gateron switches. Gateron Brown Switches have tactile or bumpy effect and are good for writers, gamers, or anyone who uses the keyboard for a long time. It has a good travel and feedback with 50 grams of actuation force and 2mm travel time, and minimal sound compared to blue switches, which are really noisy. The keycaps of M61 are made from PBT plastic, which is sturdy and thicker compared to ABS. It has some texture to it, so it's not slippery, has a little bit of depth, and has an MDA profile. The PBT keycaps on this keyboard are also dye sublimated and oil resistant, meaning smudges and fingerprints won't be seen on this keycap and the font won't shine easily as well. MDA profile is deeper in the middle and a bit taller on the sides, as you can see here on this keyboard, which for me is comfier to my fingers compared to other keycap profiles I've used like SA, DSA, or XDA keycap profile. Lastly, you can see on the keycaps that the design covers the whole keycap, which is really nice and good to see companies putting effort into this minor detail. However, due to this design, they missed one important thing, which is making the font translucent. Because of this, when you are using the keyboard in a dark room, you won't be able to easily see the font because it doesn't have any glow even though it has an RGB lighting. Another interesting feature of this keyboard is its dual mode connection. It offers a strong 2.4 GHz connection where you can find the USB dongle at the back and also the wired connection. I've seen some issues on their Amazon store that using the 2.4 GHz wireless connection isn't stable, but upon using it for many weeks, I didn't encounter any kind of connection issue. When using the 2.4 GHz connection, even though the website says you can use it up to 10 meters, it's much better to use it in a closer range like a maximum of 2 meters to avoid any issues in my experience. It also has 1850 mAh battery to support its wireless connection and offers up to 10 hours of usage with RGB on. On their website, they said 10 hours of usage with RGB on, which means turning off the RGB will save you more battery. After using this keyboard for many weeks, I managed to use this keyboard up to 15 hours without charging and still working. This could be more, but I haven't totally checked the maximum capacity of this keyboard in using the wireless mode. Lastly, it has battery saving or sleep mode, wherein after 60 seconds of inactivity, it will turn off the RGB of the keyboard to save battery. Since this keyboard is a 60% compact keyboard, some of the keys that are important can be accessed by combining the FN key plus its designated keys. This kind of feature is quite common on many 60% keyboards because of its design. As you can hear on the sound test we did, it's not noisy since we're using the Gateron Brown, but you can also pick other switches on their Amazon store just in case you prefer linear switches like yellow or red switches. It has a good feedback and it's not noisy at all. I also noticed that the switches and stabilizers of this keyboard are pre-lubed, so you can slightly hear a good smooth bump sound compared to other normal bound switches without lube. Also, you can hear the echo inside of the keyboard. You can remove this by adding sound dampener pads if you're into modding your keyboard, or maybe a DIY like adding a foam or any soft material to fill the hollow part of the keyboard. I might do a separate video on this, so stay tuned for that. However, one thing I noticed about this keyboard is the rattle on the stabilizers, especially on the spacebar or other large keys like Shift or Enter. But overall, it's really smooth and comfortable to use, especially for typing and gaming. Before we end this video, let's round up the pros and cons of this product. For the things that I like about this keyboard, it has a good build quality, it has premium feel and design, solid PBT keycaps and body frame, dual mode connection which is a wireless 2.4 GHz and wired connection, the intricate design and paint job, you can use macro on this keyboard, and lastly, its price, which I find really competitive, especially here in the Philippines. As for the cons of this keyboard, first, this keyboard doesn't have adjustable fit. For some people, this might be okay. For some, this is an issue. Another one is a non-translucent font, which makes the RGB lighting a bit useless because you can't easily see the font, especially in a dark room. But for people who use this keyboard or maybe will be using this keyboard on a well-lighted room, I think that is okay. Another one is the design of the font. Since this is a themed mechanical keyboard, if you're into modding or like customizing your keyboard, you cannot replace the keycaps because it will ruin the entire design of the keyboard. So that's one drawback if you are planning to upgrade the keycaps or something like that. A little bit of rattle on the stabilizers, but this one is a minor issue, so I think this won't bother other people, but I find this quite annoying sometimes. Lastly, the major drawback of this product is the availability. Unfortunately, even though the price is competitive, we can't really order this easily here in the Philippines unless you can order it from Amazon, which uses credit card and other mode of payment, and cash on delivery is not supported by Amazon. For the final part of this video, can I recommend XVX M61 mechanical keyboard? For me, it's a solid yes. If you are into a compact keyboard, this keyboard will offer pretty much everything for a beginner to average users. This keyboard is a good steal for people who wanted to have a compact keyboard and use it for writing, work, or even for gaming. It has a good constructed quality and design, bang for the buck performance, and contains a lot of features. So make sure to check all the pros and cons of this keyboard before buying this keyboard to satisfy your needs and of course your PC setup. And that's it for my review of the XVX M61 mechanical keyboard with Coral Sea theme. Again, thank you to XVX and Womier for sending this awesome product. If you're not yet subscribed to our channel, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you are updated on our next video. Thank you for watching and peace.